in the before times, we had two services, one of which was praise band and one of which was organ. And at this point, we're doing one service online each Sunday, and it has a combination of music.
How are you delivering most of this to your people?
The Sunday morning service goes out by YouTube. And basically, I run it from my laptop at home. My wife, Lori Marks, is with me usually. She's the music director at the church. We usually play the part of the congregation and read the congregational responses to the liturgy. And our pastor, Tim Johansson, is remote. At this point, usually from the sanctuary. So he actually stands in the pulpit to give the sermon and so forth, but that he is the only person in the sanctuary and joins us remotely. And that's all streamed out on YouTube. And I use a software package called Vmix to do the YouTube streaming and bring in all of our audiovisual content. So the sermon and generally most of the liturgy is live. The music and scripture readings, prayer readings, and so forth are pre-recorded.
And your pastor, who's coming from church, what is his technology set up there?
He basically is using a laptop with a webcam. One of the features of Vmix is that for the paid version, at least, is that you can have somebody basically do a remote in. So he has a web address that he goes to, and he's just on the webcam and microphone on his laptop. And we did find that we didn't find this, we knew it already, that the Wi-Fi in our sanctuary is somewhat flaky. It's fine if you're looking at Facebook or checking your email or something. If you're going to do a video stream, it's not the best. So we have a maybe, I don't know, 100-foot video, or excuse me, Ethernet cable snaked in across the hallway from the church office, which is where the router is. And that improved the connection a lot, having it on the Ethernet rather than the Wi-Fi.
Okay. You mentioned the paid version of Vmix. Yeah. I know there are several levels. What level did you go to?
We went with the HD Pro version, I think it is, which was a flat $350. The reason we picked it was some of the audience may know that in my day job, I work at United Lutheran Seminary. And the reason we picked Vmix was simply that I was familiar with it from using it for YouTube events at the seminary. And they offer a fairly generous trial period. It's either 60 days or 90 days. This is the Vmix control panel, and there's a lot of things you can do with it, which is good. It also means it can be confusing, and basically you can bring in different pieces of media. So this image right here, this is a still image. It's a JPEG file. This over here in this window is a PowerPoint file. So this is the main PowerPoint for our service, and that's kind of pre-existing thing because we were already using the PowerPoints in our sanctuary for worship before we went online. So this window over here is basically what's going out. And this window over here is sort of the next thing that's up, and the preview, and everything that's here is your media that you've got lined up. If you have music, you can play the music. So you can combine the the music and whatever video content you have. So if you have PowerPoint slides, if you have image files, if you have videos, you can just put them here, and basically you just cut in whatever content you have in whatever order. And what I try to do is I try to just put in every piece of content that I have for a particular Sunday, and put it in order. So I can just click from one thing to the next. You can do fancier things. You can have titles at the bottom, if you want to reflect who's speaking or something like that. But it works pretty well. It streams with YouTube or with, let me see, what are our options here? YouTube or Facebook Live. And there are several other options, as you can see. What I always tell people is there is no best way. There's the way you're going to do it that works for you and works for your congregation. And again, I don't want to say that one way is better or worse. I've seen a lot of online services, and people are doing some great things with it. So, this is working for us.
How much horsepower do you have on your laptop?
I'm using an Asus ZenBook. I would say that it's I'd say it's a middle of the road business laptop. It's not super high end. It's also not the cheapest thing out there. We had trouble at the beginning getting everything to work properly. Basically, we didn't have enough horsepower on the computer for what we were trying to do. And first of all, that was a different computer, it was an older laptop. But the other problem was, the real root of the problem was that we were running the stream, we were running the input, we were running the remote camera for the pastor. And so the computer's basically running 3 video streams at the same time. And it got to be too much for it. And we solved that problem by basically cutting back down the resolution. You can choose what resolution and what bitrate you stream at. And so we cut it down. So if you've watched our services, you may notice that when we go from one slide to another, that the transition is kind of fuzzy. And that's because we're broadcasting at 480p and a fairly low bit rate on the video, because 90% of our video is PowerPoint slides and talking heads. And so the value add for going to a full Blu-ray quality HD stream is just not there for us. We do use a higher bit rate for the audio to make sure that the music sounds good. So I guess my advice would be, try to use what you have and experiment. And when I say experiment, I mean experiment behind closed doors. Don't experiment during your worship service when you're live to the internet. Most of the technical problems we had at the beginning were 100% traceable to the fact that we didn't test everything. I guess the only thing I could say is whatever you're doing, if it works for your congregation, great, and keep at it. This is all new for everybody, or at least for most of us. If you can find one thing to change to make it better, change that one thing, and don't try to overhaul everything in 1 week. Continual, gradual improvement, and keep up the good work.